We are with North Catholic track star and University of North Carolina commit Trevor Paschall. Thanks for coming on the program today.
Thank you guys for having me. It's great to be back.
Trevor, looking back, when did your track career start?
I would say that when it really took off for me was 6th grade. I ran in 5th grade. It didn't really mean anything to me. And then 6th grade, I started seeing a little bit of success. I won the diocese championship for the 100-meter. And I was like, okay, you know what? This could be something that I'm into. Maybe I'll stick with it through high school. It was just something fun that I kind of enjoyed at the time.
But when was that point where you realized, hey, this is something that I can not only do long term, but I can be great at?
I would say the summer after my 8th grade season. I had gone undefeated 3 years straight from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in the 100-meter and 200-meter in the Diocese of Pittsburgh. And I was just like, okay, we need to figure something out. So I talked to my parents. I was like, we should look at a club track team or something for me to do over the summer because this is something that I think I'm going to want to stick with.
Trevor, are there any races throughout your career that kind of stand out to you or that you remember the most?
The summer after my 8th grade year, I was running with the club team for the first time. This was the first meet I ever ran with the Stallions, and my coach goes, Trevor, I want you to run the 400. And I had never ran the 400 in the last 3 years. I ran it in 5th grade. I hated it. I said, I'm doing the 1 and the 2. I'm sticking with it. I'm not running the 4. And then I get to this summer, and he was like, I want you to run the 400. And I was just thinking okay, I guess it's something I'm going to have to do, conditioning. It's not going to be something I stick with. But then I ran it, and I beat everybody by a good 2-3 seconds. And this was a competitive club track meet. So I was surprised, not having ran it in 3-4 years. I was like, okay, I'm kind of liking this. I think this could be something I enjoy. So I think that was kind of a race that meant something to me, definitely.
Do you have a time in any of your races that you're especially proud of as your personal best?
Definitely my 400. Breaking 49 seconds was my goal for junior year, and I hit that at States, which was really...
Yeah, that's special, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I ran the best race of my life. I obviously came up short. I think a state silver is something that I can absolutely be proud of. I mean, I would have loved to win, neck and neck, the diving finish, but running the race of your life, all of season leading up to that race, that specific time, breaking 49 seconds for the first time, it was really special for me.
So, Trevor, you run the 100, the 200, the 400, and the 4x100. How are you able to balance all of those races and be able to focus on just one at a time and then shift to the next one when the next one comes?
I think there's a lot that goes into it, both prepping prior to the meet and then during the meet itself. The night before, I'm eating as big of a dinner as I possibly can. I'm stuffing myself. I want to make sure I have enough in me to, carry me through the next day, the next morning, big breakfast. And then during the meet, I don't eat a ton. It's little snacks here and there, maybe a couple bites of a protein bar, some fruit, some Body Armor, some Gatorade, some Pedialyte, whatever it is. It's just a lot of making sure you're hydrating and eating, but not too much that you're going to get sick or you're going to throw you off from your actual race. And then mentality-wise, just going into these races, I'm not thinking about anything else. If I'm running the 100, I'm not thinking about the 400. I'm not thinking about the relay. It's time to go for the race that I'm running.
When did scouts start coming to see you race?
That would have been, obviously I missed my sophomore season. So early in my junior year, which was when coaches started reaching out. I started getting phone calls, texts, emails. And it was such a cool experience just to know that there are people interested in me. And it was almost another motivating factor to push me through for the rest of the season, because I wasn't even sure that we were going to have a season. There was one meet that I ran by myself. I was the only North Catholic athlete there because everyone who rode the bus to the meet prior to that, they got contact traced.
Yeah.
So I was I'm here, I might as well run. And it's just really weird because I didn't know that I was going to have a season. So I really just pushed forward, made the most of everything, and having those coaches on my back was another motivating factor to keep me going in the season.
Absolutely.
Trevor, what type of feelings do you get when you start getting calls from college coaches or letters in the mails from certain colleges?
It was really, really awesome. I remember specifically the one that stood out to me was Princeton, because I didn't get an email or anything. I got a text directly to me, and I got it at 1 a.m. And so I didn't even see it. I woke up the next morning and I go, Mom, the Princeton coach texted me overnight. Like, this dude texted me at 1:30 in the morning. He goes, "Hey, Trevor, sorry it's so late, blah, 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 blah. We're really interested. I'd love to talk to you." And it was the coolest thing to, like, wake up in the morning and see a text from Princeton saying, like, "We want you. Like, we want you to run for us."
How are they staying up late for that too? Like,
The nights after that, I was staying
yeah.
up. I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, if someone texts me, I'm getting back to him right away. It was exhilarating, kind of. It was just a lot of fun to, like, see, like, okay, if I reach out to a coach, are they going to get back to me? Like, is some coach that I'm not expecting going to text me? It was a really, really awesome experience.
Did you find it to be overwhelming at times though?
Absolutely. I think near the end of the process, when I was going on the official visits and I had coaches pressing me saying, like, "We have an offer for you. Like, we need to know what you're thinking. We need to know, like, when your visits are," stuff like that. And I don't even know if overwhelming is the right word, but it was a lot to think about. It was a lot to think about, and there was a lot that went into it, and it was really cool. You know, it was a chance for me to, like, see what I thought was best for me, see where I fit the best, and it was just a cool experience.
So you mentioned going on those official visits. How awesome was that, to be able to visit these schools and see what they're actually about?
It was amazing. Meeting the guys on the team, you know, seeing the culture, seeing the school, seeing everything. It was awesome. And obviously these schools are showing their best aspects. They're showing what they're known for. Like, I went to the Penn State Whiteout on my visit.
Oh, that's incredible.
It was the most electric sports experience of my entire life. 111,000 people in that stadium screaming to beat Auburn. Like, it was really, really cool. And I think overall the visits, they were showing off their best attributes. And I just had a really good time, you know, hanging out with the guys. I got to stay in the dorms, you know, sleep with them, go to practice with them, eat with them, see what it's actually like to be a college student. And it's really, really exciting.
Now that your recruitment is over, what are you now focusing on for college?
College-wise, I'm not really too worried, you know, keeping my grades up, but there's not a lot that I have to do. Obviously, I signed yesterday, so I don't have to worry about any of that. Right now, it's just, you know, keeping my grades up, staying busy, and having a fun senior year.
So, of course, you're signed with UNC. You mentioned Princeton. What other schools are involved in your recruitment process?
There were a bunch that reached out to me, but the ones that I used my 5 official visits on were Penn State, Pitt, Princeton, Duke, and UNC.
What stood out about UNC compared to the other schools?
I think something that was really good for me was the balance. Like, when I was at Princeton, I loved it there, but I felt like the academic load was this is a good time. I would use the word overwhelming. There was a lot that went on. Like, there was one of the guys on the track team. It was a Friday night. We were going out to dinner, and he was like, "Oh, guys, I have a paper to write. Like, I'll catch you in the morning." And, like, it's a Friday night.
Yeah.
Like, we're going out to dinner, and this dude's going, "Nah, I have a paper to write." And that was like, okay, so, like, they're serious here. Like, that's the way it is. And that was intimidating. It didn't, like, shake it off my list. I was just like, you know, that's something I'll have to accept if I choose there. Duke was kind of the same way. Penn State was kind of that, like, I would say, I don't want to say the opposite, but it wasn't as academically focused. And I think
More relaxed, would you say?
Yes, more relaxed. Yeah, that's definitely a good word. And then when I got to UNC, I felt the balance. Like, you know, I felt the sports were important. The academics were obviously very, very important there. You know, it's one of the top public universities in the country. But I felt there was a lot of balance. And I think for a person like me with a lot of diverse interests, I think that was a really, really good fit, just to not be locked down into athlete and student. Like, I feel like I'll be able to broaden my horizons there.
Well, that's a phenomenal answer. And now going into your senior season here at North, what are your goals for this year?
I have some lofty goals. Time-wise, I want to go sub 48 in the 400. I would love to go 21.3, 21.4 in my 200, and I'd love to go 10.7, 10.6 consistently in that 100. I think WPIALs, you know, I'd love to come home with 4 gold medals again, and I'd really, really love to get 3 state medals. You know, whether I choose the relay or the 100-meter dash, I think 3 gold state medals is something that's absolutely achievable for me. And then on top of that, I think that creates the perfect storm. I've always wanted to be a Gatorade Athlete of the Year, and I think that this could be the year that happens for me.
Have you gotten reached out to by any of those companies?
No, I haven't. And, like, when I'm in college, I think that there's a good chance that I'll be able to sign, like, a deal, promoting something. But, like, well, the Gatorade Athlete of the Year is, like, separate.
Yeah.
Like, they just choose, like, they don't reach out to you. Like, they just choose You have to be recommended by a coach. And my coach recommended me last year. But I think this year, they really love the accolades, I would say. Like, so if you show up with 3 state championships, that's going to be hard to say no. Although I know there's a really good distance kid from Archbishop Wood, and he's very, very fast. So he won it last year, so he could go back to back. But I would love to have an opportunity to compete with him for that honor.
Trevor, how have your coaches and trainers helped you get to this point?
There has been so much that went into it. My sprint coach, his cousin is my strength and conditioning coach. So the two of them just work together in every aspect of it. Like when I'm lifting hard, I'll run light. If I'm running hard, I'll lift light. My strength coach is writing me up specific things to eat on like meet days and stuff like that. He's giving me supplements, my protein, my creatine, which I don't really take anymore, but like whatever I do, it always goes through him, and the two of them are always working together. So it really is a big team effort. And that's an important thing for me as well, which is why I chose UNC. The trust with the coach and the vibe that I got from his team, the way that it's run. The relationship that I have with my coaches is something that I don't think many people get. And I think that that's the way that it is at UNC. And I think that's the way their program is run. And I think that's the way that is most effective for me to be successful.
When it comes to being a leader, we know you as a leader here at the school, president of the student council, head of the Trojan Army or student section. How much did leadership play into the recruitment process in terms of what they were looking for out of a student?
I would think it's a big thing for them. Obviously, I'm not sure what's going through a coach's head, but I think if any of them are looking at me, leading the team, I think they could see that I'm someone who tries to build other people up.
Yeah.
If they've ever met my teammates or my coaches, they'll tell them that I'm always trying to keep people involved. I'm trying to get people motivated. I'm trying to better other people so that I can better myself in the process. I think it's kind of a corny thing to say, but I think, if everyone's working together, everyone's just going to, be more successful than they would be alone.
Absolutely, and I can totally vouch for that as being a teammate yourself. Phenomenal leader
Thank you,
on and off the track.
Yep, Trevor, that's all we got for you today. Thank you for the interview, and good luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you guys for having me. It was awesome.